What's going on, y'all? It's Taylor with y'all 106.7, and today I'm joined by country music singer-songwriter. I'm going to call you legendary, T. Graham Brown. Welcome to y'all.
Hello, Taylor.
How are you?
You know, I'm great. I'm talking to you and getting ready to go over to Steve Cropper's house.
Yeah.
And they're filming a documentary on him, so they wanted to interview me about Steve. So I'm having a good life. I'm getting to do all kinds of stuff.
Got a busy day.
Yeah, and I have a wonderful life. I've had a good career. I've been singing for a living since 1973, so I'm 51 years later. I'm still having fun and
it's been a minute. And you look
records
great.
And you know, I have my show on Sirius XM that I do. I've been doing that for 5 years, and Joey Black up in New York, we're goof off buddies. He's the boss up there, and sent me an email yesterday. Do you want to do it another year? And I said, yeah. The listeners demand it. Besides, I couldn't live without you, so I'm gonna do it for the 6th year.
Yeah. Well, congrats. That's exciting.
It's fun.
A lot to be congratulated on, though, because you just joined the Opry.
Yeah, what? That's the biggest thing that's ever happened to Sheila and me.
And, well, you've played the Opry like 300 times, I read.
Yeah, going on 400. I've been going out to the Opry for 40 years.
And you were probably like, where's my invitation, huh?
Well, you know, I figured they'd eventually get around to it. Yeah. I was hoping anyway. So.
Well, it was a great night. Was it Vince Gill inducted you? Yeah. Did your son play with you on stage? It was a very special night.
Yeah, you've done your research. That's great.
Yeah, I have.
Vince and I have been friends since probably 1985 or 6. So it was great to have a friend like him to induct me. And also, you know, he asked me. We were taping my Sirius XM show and had a live audience, and I thought it was just a regular interview with Vince and passing the guitar around singing. But at the end of it, he said, T, how many times have you done the Opry? And I told him. He said, well, I just want to let you know this whole thing today's been a setup. The Opry sent me out here to ask you if you wanted to be a member. So it was great. It was, you know, I cried, Sheila cried, and it was just wonderful.
Now, did Sheila know that was going to be happening?
No, she didn't know.
So you had no idea?
No idea. You know, Sheila and I have been together for 46 years, and she's been taking care of me. So I include her. Anything that I do, it's her too, you know. What's
the secret?
God, her patience.
Yeah.
and it's a God thing that man, I've been up and down all around, and she's stuck by me through the whole thing. So
that's not easy to do. So congratulations.
Yeah, she's a great. You should meet her sometime.
You should have brought her.
She's the greatest person I've ever met, and she's, you know, not to be corny, but she's my best friend, and it's great to have somebody that you know will tell you the truth, and that's got your back, that you can trust, and that's the kind of person she is.
And hell or high water.
That's it, baby.
Yeah. So how did y'all meet?
At the University of Georgia.
Okay. Georgia boy.
Yeah.
Go Dogs.
Yeah, go Dogs.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
I want to talk about your new album really quick, From Memphis to Muscle Shoals. You have a few songs that are out already. You have Randy Houser, Wynonna, Tanya Tucker. That's really cool. And the rest of the album.
Zach Williams' duet of When a Man Loves a Woman. You know Zach?
Yeah.
And he and I were down. The Oak Ridge Boys were shooting a remake of the Elvira video down at John Rich's bar, and Zach and I were just talking. Zach knew all about me. I couldn't believe he knew so much of me. He was asking me questions that kind of took me back, and I told him about this From Memphis to Muscle Shoals project and asked him if he'd sing on it. He went, yeah, I'll sing on it. So we got that out, I guess. When is that coming out, Scott? Tomorrow?
Oh, big deal.
So, yeah, and the album comes out August the 2nd. And I'm 69 years old. Here's the thing. I'm 69 years old, and I get to do exactly what I want to do. Nobody tells me what to do anymore. So I've been wanting to cut a soul tribute album. I've been a soul guy all my life. I grew up in the 60s with a transistor radio glued to my ear listening to soul music. And so we went down to Fame Studios in Muscle Shoals.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It is awesome. And we cut 14 tracks that were songs that were either originally cut in Memphis or originally cut in Muscle Shoals. So we got the tracks done and all that. And I was talking to Dwight Yoakam. Dwight's an old friend. My first album, there was a group of us that came out basically within a year of each other. Randy Travis, Keith Whitley, Marty Stewart, Steve Earle, Dwight Yoakam, Patty Loveless, me, and we've all stayed in touch with each other, and we all love each other very much, and we've always pulled for each other. No competition, we always pull for each other. So anyway, I've kept in touch with all of them. And I was talking to Dwight and catching up, and he asked me what I'd been doing, and I told him, about we'd cut this record. And he said, "Did you cut a song called I'm Your Puppet?" And I said, "Yeah, man. Matter of fact, I did." And he said, "Can I sing on it?" And I went, "Yeah, you can sing on it." So he went into a studio out in Hollywood and did the duet, and then he went back and sang harmony on everything. He really went to a lot of trouble. He's a perfectionist. And so once I got that, I got to thinking, man, I ought to call Tanya and see if she'll sing. And she said yes, of course, because we go way back. We were on Capitol Records together in the mid-'80s, and we had a big hit called Don't Go Out in like 1991, something like that. So we flew out to her place in Texas and recorded her in her living room. And then I called a lady named Bettye LaVette. People probably don't recognize her name. She's an old soul singer, grew up with Aretha Franklin, kind of a cult figure, I guess. Her last album was just up for a Grammy for Blues Album of the Year, so she's really good. So she sang, she went in the studio in New York and sang it. And then I called Wynonna. See, the thing is this, is I got everybody's phone number.
You got some cool friends.
And we've been knowing each other forever, and we all do each other favors. So I knew they would do it. So I asked Wynonna to sing on this Al Green song, Take Me to the River, and she went in and did it. And then I called Sam Moore from Sam and Dave, who's an old friend. I got some people on there that were in their 80s. I just wanted to show the world that they could still sing, kind of a tribute to them too. Mm-hmm. So Sam Moore's 87, and sing like he's 20. And then there was a man named Eddie Floyd. Some people might not recognize this, but the song Knock on Wood he wrote with Steve Cropper. And Eddie himself came to Muscle Shoals and did a duet. And Delbert McClinton, one of my all-time heroes, sings Mustang Sally with me. And Little Anthony from Little Anthony and the Imperials. We went down to Florida and went down to Miami. Sam lives in Miami, and we went to a really famous studio called Criteria down there. And then we went to Fort Lauderdale and got Little Anthony at a place called the Power Station. Went over to Randy Houser's house, and he has a studio in his basement. And he sang sitting on the dock of the bay. And so, and Sammy Hagar sang his part on a funky song called Walking the Dog, sang his part out in California. And Zach Williams sang his somewhere here in Nashville. I don't know if it was his house or where. So anyway, we got a bunch of cool people on it.
And that sounds just like a good time. Like
it was
fun time making it.
The most fun I ever had in my life.
Yeah. And
it's definitely the most fun. And it just turned into this thing. Like I said, it's 14 tracks and 11 of them are duets. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is some famous friends that you have. Tell me a story. Tell me what's one of your greatest memories with Keith Whitley and, those guys that you were telling me.
Keith Whitley and I were like brothers and very, very, very close friends. And we both drank a lot back then. And so we were out on the road. Here's a story. We were out on the road, and we came back into Nashville, and we were going to take a couple of days off. And then we were going to go back out on the road. We were on tour together. And So we came home, and he had a manager then named Jack McFadden. He's passed on now. But we all talked all the time and talked on the phone. So it was the phone rang, and it was Jack, which was nothing out of the ordinary. And I said, "Hey, man, what you doing?" And he said, "Keith's dead." And I said, "Man, don't even joke about that." He said, "No, man, we found Keith dead today." And he started crying, and I went, "Oh, no, man, this is real." And he said, "I can't face the cameras. Can I send them over to your house?" And I said, "I guess." So all these news trucks showed up at my house and reporters and all that, and I had to be the guy, and very sad, very sad. I can't, that's been in 1989. Amazing. But Keith was a great guy, but, he had some demons too. And sadly, he just drank too much one night and never woke up.
He's one of my favorite.
Oh, he's one of the all-time
you too,
great.
Of course.
You kidding me? Yeah. He's one of the all-time great. If he had lived, he'd have been as big a star as anybody ever, I think.
Well, touching on that drinking, your song "Wine into Water" is my favorite song of yours. Well, yes, my dad showed me that song many, many years ago. It was like a YouTube video of you performing it live. It is so powerful. Can you take me back to the day that you wrote that song?
Well, sort of. I remember we were, Bruce Birch and Ted Hewitt and I got together to write. And we were in what used to be the Curb Records building. I don't know, it might still be the Curb Records building. Anyway, Bruce had an office in there. And so we were writing. And one thing that I remember about that day was Trace Atkins came in the back door with a construction hat on. He was all muddy. He was working construction. He hadn't had any hits or anything at that time. That was the first time I ever met Trace. So Bruce had this idea. Bruce was like a brother to me. We went to Georgia together. We would go way back to the 70s. Anyway, Bruce said he was cutting his grass and had this idea of wine into water. Well, I have no doubt that he was thinking about me because I was in bad trouble. I mean, I was at a point where I was getting up in the morning pouring vodka in my coffee and firing up a joint first thing. I was steady looking for a buzz. That was what I thought about a lot. So anyway, we wrote Wine into Water, and it has, over the years, has taken on a life of its own. It's helped so many people. I hear from people every week. The day before yesterday, a guy wrote me, and it was one line: "Wine into Water saved my life." So I get that all the time. This woman said that she went out on a road one night. Her husband had beaten her up again, and she was going to shoot herself and turn the radio on, and bam, Wine into Water came on right that second, made her change her mind. This big old football player in Tampa, we were at the Florida State Fair, came up to me, and I don't know if he was an ex-pro player or what. I think he was. And he waited. We were signing autographs, and he waited till the end. He came up and said, "Man, a friend of mine got me to smoking crack last year, and I was instantly hooked." He said, "I went through all my money. My wife and 3 daughters left me. I lost my job, lost my house, and I pulled my truck out into a field on New Year's Day and ran a hose from the tailpipe into the cab and shut the door. And that carbon monoxide was pumping in the cab." And he said, "I turned on the radio and bam, Wine into Water came on right that second." So I've heard these, it's a God thing. Mm-hmm. A movie, there's a film industry in India called Bollywood, and I got a message from a film director in India that saw that same video I think that you're talking about, and wrote me, "We have a bad drug and alcohol problem here in India, so I made a movie about it, and it's called Grace," and he sent me the trailer, and it's amazing. His drug deal's going down, guy killing himself and all, but in the end, it's redemption. So I got a message from a guy in Birmingham, England, said, "I just left a meeting of 500 people standing up singing Wine into Water. So it's played at rehabs, churches, AA meetings, just all over the place, and it's helped a lot of people, and it's just amazing. And so here's what's really crazy. There's a court in Franklin, Tennessee, and for people that don't know, it's about 30 miles south of Nashville. So there's a judge down there, this lady that has made a DUI program that if you get a DUI and you successfully complete a 6-week program, she'll expunge the DUI from your record and make it go away. And they have this little sweet graduation ceremony, you know, the families and the mamas and daddies of whoever it is, or wives, or what, you know, and not many people, 25 people maybe. And she asked if we'd come down and sing Wine into Water at the little graduation. So Ted and I were talking, and we were in the judge's chambers, and I said, isn't it amazing what Wine into Water's doing? And he said, you know, I can't even remember writing that song. He said, it's like I looked down and it was there. And I said, you know what, man? That's what happened to me. I don't remember writing it either. And then we got together with Bruce a couple of months later and told him, he said, you know what, guys, I don't remember writing Wine into Water either. So it's like none of us really remember writing Wine into Water. So it's really strange. That's never ever happened to any of us at songwriting. And we've the three of us have written, separately hundreds of songs. And that's never happened to me before. So anyway, Wine and Water's something else, man, and I'm so happy about it. And I sing it last in every show. So I always tell people, and I'm very bipolar, and Sheila was able to get me to a doctor about 15 years ago. So I always tell people about, try to educate people on mental illness at the end of my show, and I tell them about my addiction struggles, and then I sing Wine into Water because I want people to leave the show with that on their mind. And so Sheila and I, we make our living singing, and like I said, I got the radio show. I get in a movie every now and then. I get to do a lot of fun stuff. But our main thing in life, we have this little personal ministry that we just try to help people get straightened out. That's what we're all about, helping people. All this show business and all that's secondary. That ain't gonna get you to heaven. We're just trying to do what we think God wants us to do. It's pretty simple, actually.
It's probably the most fulfilling part of all of it.
It is, and it's what matters. I mean, making a difference, helping people get their lives back together, man, that's the number one deal. And it's a family disease. Mental illness is a family disease, and it just helps. So I have people come up to me like all the time, man. My son was in prison and he heard Wine into Water and it helped him get straightened out. Or my son was about to die and he heard Wine into Water and it helped him get straightened out and just wanted to thank you. And I hear that all the time. I mean, it's literally every week. And that song first got played on radio in 1998. That's how old that song is. I think we wrote it in 95. It never was a hit. It was a hit everywhere it got played. It just didn't get played a lot of places. I think it went to maybe number 40 or something in the charts, but most of the United States never heard that song.
Yeah, but those are sometimes the biggest songs. I mean,
well, it's turned into be the biggest
lives.
song I've ever had. I mean, I've had hits and number ones and all that stuff, but Wine into Water has become the most requested and most popular song we've ever done.
And it's not even just the lyrics, it's the way that you sing it.
Well,
I mean, I think that they can hear the power and the emotion in your voice is why it speaks to people so much.
I'm totally transparent about everything, and I'm totally transparent on stage, and I think people can sense that I'm telling them the truth. I ain't BSing anybody anymore. I used to. You can't con God.
No, you can't.
I lived my life trying to con God. God knows what you're thinking.
He's 10 steps ahead.
Trying to con God is a fool's errand, no doubt. So I finally came to that realization, and it's really helped me.
It's pretty crazy that you said that none of y'all remember even writing that song. It's like the words came, from somewhere bigger than you. So God gave you the words for that.
I know. I'm telling you. It's weird.
Well,
but
thank you.
It was good. Good that it happened.
Thank you for writing that, and thank you for sharing it and bringing awareness to mental health at the end of your shows, because that's not done enough these days.
Well, the thing about mental illness is it's still got a negative stigma. A lot of people don't want to seek treatment because they're ashamed of it, especially men. It's hard to get men to go. I tell people, go find a good doctor, because they make medicine now that can alleviate the symptoms. There's no cure for it, but it can allow you to live basically a normal life. I tell people, you don't have to live that way. And, there's help out there. You know what? Naomi Judd had the same thing I got, and her medicine wasn't working right. I guarantee you that's why she killed herself, because people in their right mind don't kill themselves. There's something going on. And I think her medicine just got whacked out. And I have changed my medicine from time to time, because your brain, it's a brain chemistry thing, and your brain will get used to a certain medicine and it'll quit working. Mm-hmm. So you have to go in for a checkup, and I go out. I have a great doctor, and he adjusts my medicine or changes medicine. So, you got to be vigilant about it, but there is help out there.
Yeah. Well, how do you relax and unwind when you're not working? What fills you up? Cut your grass?
I like cutting the grass.
Yeah. Push mower or a ride mower?
I got a ride mower and a push mower. I got a little ride mower. I was in it. Trace Atkins went on to be a great friend of mine since that day I first saw him. And I was in a video of his a few years ago, and I was complaining about my little 30-year-old snapper riding mower breaking down. I said, man, I can't fix it. I can't make it go anymore. So it's funny. They showed up with a brand new riding lawnmower for me at the house.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that was like my pay, I guess.
Yeah.
So that was really sweet of them. So I'm still using that. And I like to watch TV. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, might think, well, you're wasting your life watching TV, but I love watching the Western Channel. I like Bonanza, Rifleman, the Virginia, Have Gun, Will Travel, Wagon Train, Gunsmoke. I like them all. Man.
All of them.
So I watch TV.
Well, you're kind of like a TV advertising connoisseur. Cracker Barrel, Coca-Cola, Taco Bell. Let's touch on that.
Well, there was a time I moved to town singing demos. That's how I got started. I got a raspy voice. So Ron Chancey, that produced the Oak Ridge Boys, all of their hits, also did jingles. So there was a jingle advertising agency in Chicago, Foot Cone and Belding, big agency, and they would come to Nashville. So they wanted me to sing on McDonald's. I'd sung a couple of little bitty jingles, local car lots and places like that. But so this was the first big one, and they played. I did a McDonald's commercial, and they played it on the Super Bowl, and it was a big hit. So my phone started ringing. If they needed a raspy guy, I did taco. I was actually the Taco Bell guy for 4 years. I was on TV. Wow. I did all the jingles. I'd fly out to Hollywood, and they'd take us out to the desert, Joshua Tree, and shoot these commercials, and it was so much fun. So I did that for 4 years. But in the meantime, I was doing Burger King, Hardee's, KFC, Coca-Cola, 7-Up, Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew, Budweiser, Stroh's, Miller, Coors, all the cars and trucks. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. I did that for 7 years. So at Disneyland, at one time I was the guy. But the jingle business has died out, and it's not what it used to be.
They have all that copyright.
Yeah.
Sync
so
stuff.
they don't write jingles like they used to and go in the studio and cut something. They license music a lot of times.
Well, did you get free Taco Bell? Free Burger
Actually,
King?
man, you know what? So Taco Bell's was a little company, and then all of a sudden Pepsi bought them, and they went to $3 billion a year during that ad campaign. So it was very, very successful
because of your jingles.
Well, I don't know that.
So you should get free Taco Bell for life.
I'll just say this: during our time we were doing it, they just went through the roof. And so the CEO loved me. And I remember they painted my bus one time, and they took care of me, man.
That's
They would
awesome.
fly me out. They'd put me in 4-star hotels, fly me first class. I could sign for anything. Oh, boy, I thought I was a big shot, man. I really did. I'd go to the Four Seasons in L.A. and sign for a couple of bottles of Dom Perignon every night and order everything on the menu. Oh, boy, I mean, I was living large. But
oh, wow. From bean burritos to Dom Perignon. There we go.
But they gave me this thing, and I still got it. It looks exactly like a driver's license. Plastic thing, just exactly like, it's got my picture on it like a driver's license, but it says VIP. And all I had to do was go in any Taco Bell anywhere and show them that, and they'd give us whatever we want. So we'd pull the bus in to Taco Bell, and the guys would all go in and eat. So we use that card a lot.
Oh, that's awesome. That was like the road sponsor. That's how we
fun.
fed the crew. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a good time doing jingles.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of the road, we were on the road this year. Tell it like it used to be tour.
Yeah, we're out doing shows. We just got through doing the 4th of July shows last week and going to Minnesota tomorrow. We got shows lined up. I think next year they're going to really work me hard.
Yeah.
More than this year. Yeah, they told me to get ready. So
You better rest up. Better watch a lot of Western shows.
I am. So, yeah, I still got that old lime green hillbilly T bus, and we keep it in the road. And I tell people, hey, if you see us going down the road, pull in behind us, follow us to a show. I guarantee you'll have a good time.
I love that. I want to touch on something really quick. Were you in a band? Rock of Spam or something?
Oh, I had bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Athens, the last band I had was T. Graham Brown's Rack of Spam.
Rack of Spam, yeah.
Rack of Spam. We had a big old thing we hung up behind us, and it was a Spam can on a spit, like rotating under a fire. I got this art student at Georgia to make it. It was really stupid. I still got it.
Did you used to wear a Spam key around your neck?
You know, the band gave me a Spam key probably in 87. They took a Spam key to a jeweler, and the jeweler made a wax impression of it and poured gold in it. Anyway, this jeweler made a Spam key. And it was awesome, man. It was a necklace, and I wore that thing, and it was awesome. And it went down the drain in a Holiday Inn in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I couldn't fish it out, man.
Oh, man.
So I lost my Spam key, but it was really funny. It was cool. Nobody, It was a one of a kind, I guarantee you.
That's awesome. Well, we'll have to recreate it for you.
Hey, I wish you would.
Yeah.
I'd wear it.
Well, we love all of your music. We play the best of the 80s, 90s, early 2000s here. So it's definitely an honor to have you here today. Loving the new music and can't wait for the rest of the album. But is there anything we didn't touch on today that you want our listeners to know?
Oh, well, you can tell people they can go to tgrahamBrown.com and pre-order the album, and we're going to have it on vinyl also.
I got to get one of those.
Yeah, we'll fix you up. And also, we have a great Facebook page that we keep up every day and keep it funny and keep announcements and all that. You know, it's a pretty good Facebook page. And, of course, Instagram, X, all that. If you want to find out anything about me, just Google T. Graham Brown and a bunch of stuff will pop up.
A bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I could talk to you for hours, but I know you have somewhere else to be. So,
well, thanks for having me,
yeah,
Taylor.
thanks for having me.